Toward the beginning of the pandemic, actually way toward the beginning, I had the very wonderful experience of being able to participate in the 30-day spiritual exercises of Ignatius. I'd always wanted to do that, and never found a time that Sam would give me 30 days to go to a retreat center. But because of the pandemic, the Los Altos Jesuit Retreat Center in California, they were offering to do it on Zoom. So every day at 4 o'clock, I'd get a phone call from Father Andrew, and off we went on 30-day spiritual exercises. He'd give me my reading assignments. I'd literally spend the next 24 hours not only trying to do the reading and the writing, and it was a wonderful thing. It was a wonderful thing. But as I was winding down in preparation for this week, I went back to my journals, and they are legion, because I was remembering vaguely only something that spoke to me about our topic and our retreat. And so I did a little digging around, and what I found it was in some ancillary reading that he invited me to do at that time, by Mark Thibodeau, and I'm going to just read an abbreviated portion of what I found, and I hope you'll feel that it's meaningful enough to you, and you'll be able to carry it home with you as well. He said, when persons of prayer return to ordinary life, we recognize and reverence God's love for us in every object, every person, and everything or event. There suddenly exists a fourth dimension in the universe, a newly found reality of God's personal love singing in the stillness and in the action of creation, in the solidity of a tree and in the fury of a thunderstorm. All of this to reflect how God dwells in creatures, in elements, giving them existence, in plants, giving them life, in animals, conferring upon them sensation, and in us, humankind, bestowing on us understanding. God's dwelling made visible in all. And so too for us. I love this idea that there is this fourth dimension. I think O'Donohue calls it the Eucharist of the Ordinary. Seemed kind of the same to me. But Thibodeau concludes, and it's actually with a quote from Ignatius. In all these ordinary and mundane ways, Saint Ignatius, the good Spirit's action, says the good Spirit's action is delicate and gentle and delightful. The sweetness and holiness of the universe, despite all humankind's bungling of them, enters my heart as one coming into his own house with the doors open. Lovely, lovely. That's from Mark Thibodeau's book, God's Voice Within. So it amazes me, since, we're here talking about silence and beauty, and it's not that there's material on it everywhere, but the longer you look, friends, it goes way back. The Christian tradition has been talking about the silence that leads us to see God in and around everything since 1522, at least. And this idea of there being this fourth dimension, as he called it, that when we have what we talked earlier in the week about as blessed gaze, when we have this graced gaze, we see this movement and action and spirit in everyone and everything. In everyone and everything. It allows us to have our grace gaze. And we know it's true, they're down now, but we know it's true because of the haiku and cinquain that we wrote, and seeing things that perhaps we would not have seen a couple of weeks ago as we, hurried past whatever on our way to wherever. It is only from within our silence and our meditative approach, not just to our sitting, but to all of life, that we no longer see the rest of the world. Everything and everyone is separate, but we come to know that we really all are one. There is Ignatius's words, one coming home, one coming into one's own home with the doors flung wide open. Yeah, all of creation, all of it. So this idea of beauty and silence calls us away from disparity with everything and everyone else to a sense of unity. From a life that is divided to a life of oneness. We used that word earlier this week. From fracture to wholeness, from being scattered and dismembered to remembering. We remember who we are. We remember who we are together. We remember who we all belong to. We remember God's presence in us and in all of creation. And really that's the wholeness. That's the healing that comes when we engage in this silence that we have been kind of talking around all week long. It's a reclaiming. This was from the first day when we talked about the innocence of children. It's a reclaiming that innocence of children who can see and sometimes talk to things that are actually the rest of us would say are not there. But indeed, that perspective we lost in childhood. So beauty and silence are approaches to God, and we can learn them. That's the kind of cool thing. It's already there. We just have to learn it. We learn it by practicing, just like our meditation. Practice, practice, practice. Yeah. So to bring a close to our time together, I want to share a piece from Teilhard de Chardin's work, Hymn of the Universe. And I think it is best offered as a meditation. So let's get comfortable and again, listen to someone who wrote a really long time ago. It's from his book, Hymn of the Universe. What would become of our souls, Lord, if they lacked the breath of earthly reality to nourish them? The wine of created beauty to intoxicate them, and the discipline of human struggle to make them strong. What would become of our souls, Lord? What puny powers and bloodless hearts your creatures would bring to you were they to cut themselves off prematurely from the providential setting in which you have placed them? Show us, Lord, how to grasp the mystery hidden here on earth, not by refinements of human hearing or learning, but in the simple, concrete act of your redemptive immersion in all matter. Like those translucent materials which can be wholly illumined by a light enclosed within them, the world manifests itself to the Christian as bathed in an inward light, which brings out its structure, its relief, its depths. This light's not superficial coloring. that crude hedonism might discern. It's not the violent glare that annihilates objects and blinds the eyes. It is the tranquil, mighty radiance, born of the synthesis in Jesus of all the elements of the world. Children of earth, steep yourself in the sea of matter. Bathe in its fiery waters, for it is the source of your life and your youthfulness. You thought you could do without it, because the power of thought has been kindled in you. You hope that the more thoroughly you rejected the tangible, the closer you would be to spirit. That you would be more divine if you lived in a world of pure thought, or at least more angelic if you fled the corporeal. Well, you were like to have perished of hunger. Never, if you work to live and grow, never will you be able to say to the matter, I have seen enough of you. I have surveyed your mysteries and have taken from them enough food for thought to last me forever. I tell you, even though like the sage of sages you carried in your memory the image of all the beings and people of the earth, or swim in the seas, still all that knowledge would be nothing for your soul. For abstract knowledge is only a faded reality. To understand the world, knowledge is not enough. You must see it, touch it, live in its presence, drink the vital heat of existence in the very heart of reality, till the very end of time. Matter will always remain young, exuberant, sparkling, newborn, for those who are willing to see it. Spiritual purity does not lie in separation from, but in a deeper penetration into the universe. It is to be found in the love of that unique, boundless essence which penetrates the inmost depths of all things. Children of earth, bathe yourself in the ocean of matter. Plunge into it where it is deepest and most violent. Struggle in its currents and drink of its waters. For it cradled you long ago in your pre-conscious existence. And it is the ocean that will raise you up to God. Beauty is spirit, moving slowly enough to be seen. So our last word was from a mystic and poet and paleontologist who could encapsulate all that we talked about in his meditation in the book, The Hymn of the Universe. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being attentive and kind and participation. God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.